let's take a look at this scenario. Assuming that he was not a politician in any way. He was never a card-carrying member of any political party.
Yes.
But given a track record of elections conducted that controversies have trailed, do you think that any rec who has that kind of reputation should be renominated?
I mean, the one that has the reputation of demand.
Assuming, I'm not talking about him in particular. I'm talking about any rec at all now. Assuming any one of them who's been renominated or has been a rec before has a track record of conducting controversial elections, so to speak.
Any rec that has wrecked the electoral process in any manner, in any location.
But the fact that petitions are raised doesn't mean that he's wrecked it.
Yes. If there is a proven case, somebody can establish, not by virtue of the fact that he's a card-carrying member. I want to be clearly understood. I'm not dissuaded or persuaded by the argument or the sentiment that somebody is a member of a political party. I've just mentioned about Section 65 of the Constitution. In fact, to appoint somebody who does not have that leaning perhaps might be unconstitutional in law, because that is what the Constitution states. You cannot flout it. The issue is when you now put this person and there is a tendency in his conduct towards breaching the electoral process by the bias of his leaning or political cleavages, then that is where the issue comes in. And it does not matter whether he has the interest in a political party or not. If it is even through gross incompetence or sheer negligence, he does anything untoward to breach the electoral process, it is immaterial whether he carries card or does not carry card. A breach is a breach. The other ones are mere for analysis, just mere analysis. So my own interest is not so much about the sentiment of the carriage of a political party card, which is in any case a condition precedent in the Constitution. It's very clear there.
Now link it up with the constitutional review, because this is one of the issues that that has not been tabled. When we talk about constitutional review this year, we've seen the tenor, the single-term plan. We've seen the local government and state joint account, and some other talks about the time to spend in office for local government administrators, whether it should be 3 or 2. But this particular one, how important is this that we haven't even mentioned it by anybody whatsoever?
Except the critical masses of the country begin to agitate, and very seriously, it may not be touched. That Section 65 will remain, because to do otherwise will exclude a whole lot of political activists, or the politicians as we call them, from appointments and things like that, because they have already narrowed themselves to a particular road. Okay? Now, but then, like I said, we should not be fixated on somebody's political affiliation, because we know in this country we are not driven by principles and ideology. It is the principle of the stomach. So the whole thing is physiological. So if you find that party A that hosted you 4 years when you were is having problem, you decamp and join the other one. You hardly see people who consistently remain in a particular political party, even when it is sinking. They don't, because what is at center is what they will eat. To be relevant, some people would rather go and sweep at the gate of heaven than to be the deputy leader to Satan in hell. Because being a deputy leader, there might be some perks which will reduce the temperature if you talk ordinarily. you understand? But they will prefer, since heaven is laced with all goodies, it's better to be a cleaner there. So some people will clean shoes for governors just to be relevant, or go to the presidency to do all those small menial things, but come on television to voice certain things, but they are actually not doing well in the presidency ordinarily.
So what would you put, assuming, I mean, you've said that categorically that being a card-carrying member of of any political party is constitutional.
Yes.
Even though you might be playing the role of umpire. But assuming that at some point we decide that that card-carrying part of it wasn't exactly constitutional, who would you put the onus? Okay, let's look at it like this. This person doesn't exactly have the integrity that we need that's needed for an umpire. Who would you put the burden of proof on?
Now,
the people who are...
This thing called integrity is an English word. But the measurement...
It does not exist in our local...
The instrument for its measurement is what causes the trouble. Who is going to measure, and how do you measure to achieve a certain degree of universality? You get? So if the measurement has to be by the people who are pointing, then it may not be objective. So the Constitution has given them that cover. This man is a man of integrity. Prove otherwise.
How best can someone in the midst of all of this say, you know, the way they do it in other climes, and say, I'm in the news for the bad reasons. I don't think I'm the best man to go for this because of my affiliation to this, and that.
That is the issue of integrity
that you talk
in
about.
An objective sense, not from a subjective perspective. Because, in fact, let me tell you the honest truth. In a land where character, not money, is legal tender, so many politicians in this country will be worthless. You understand? Because in an economy where money plays a role, people without character can be rich. But when you reverse this, then you find that the real Nigerians would have value. But they are being devalued on a daily basis by policies, actions, utterances, and different conduct by those people who ordinarily lack content in terms of character. And that's why we have all the plenitude of problems we have in this country. And will continue to be so until the real Nigerians will take the handle by themselves.
Okay, Mr. Nnaji, transparency. When do you think we'll ever get to that point where electoral processes are transparent? Even the appointment of the umpires. Will we ever get to that point where we'll see visible transparency in all those things?
There is a global demand for good governance, and the demand determines supply. If you are a good manufacturer with raw materials and so on, and the demand is there, there's no need keeping your capacity idle. This country does not lack intelligent, patriotic people who are passionate about this country in every material respect. The only thing is that there is a politics of exclusion. The mere fact that you are outspoken, or that it appears that you will not pander, I mean, who have on their own on different scales in companies and so on. You say, look, you are an employee, I'm an employee. The difference between you and I is that you joined before me and you are the MD. We are guided by company policy. The day you want me to do what I am not supposed to do, because out there I am the one who did it. In this place, you ordered me to do it. And I will live with that outward perception, I resign. Because you won't die. And my major problem is that many people in government have acquired money over time. So what are they looking for?
But Mr. Nnaji, something just occurred to me here, that some of these people who you say are outspoken, seeking good governance, sometimes some of those ones, when they come into governance, they seem to move over to the other side.
There are people who make noise on television because they are looking for food. I don't know whether you get the point. But what we are talking about is being contented. There are some people who have been offered things, jobs, positions of authority, because they did not think they should work with such people because the system is already polluted. If you get into a room that has been polluted and everybody has left, anybody meeting you there, you are the person who did it. So, if you are smart, you will reject that offer to keep your name if it means anything to you. So we know people who even blackmail people. Otherwise, you go on air, you say these things that will be injurious to your interest. They pay them. Such people are easy to catch. You know, when you see them turn over immediately.